Yo, what up, guys? Blondo here with the new topic. That topic being game consoles and their releases. I was at an age to where I wanted to, upgrade to a newer system. I was big into PlayStation, big into PlayStation and PlayStation 2. I was big. I love such titles as like Sonic Collection. I was a big RPG fan, so I have Gauntlet, Dark Legacy, and my personal favorite, Final Fantasy 12. But then also for PlayStation, for those of you who remember, Final Fantasy 7, which we will get into that topic later. But I'm thinking with the 360 coming out and the PS3 coming out, there were problems with both consoles. Like for the PS3, you'd be paying about $700 for what, an 80 gig system? Why would I spend $700 on a console, mind you? Why? Well, you ready to hear the answer? Sony wanted to be the first company to release Blu-ray. That's right. One of these things. And Blu-ray hadn't even come out yet. It was going to be about another year or two before it even came out. But yet, Sony specifically wanted to be the first company to release Blu-ray. Well, why couldn't there have been an option of maybe waiting until the Blu-ray player came out and Sony could release that? Because you got people that don't want to play games but want the higher end definition, and Sony can release a Blu-ray player, just a regular Blu-ray player. But no, they decided to put the Blu-ray player with the console. Right? So if a family wanted to watch Blu-ray, they would have to get the PS3. They wouldn't be able to get just a generic Blu-ray DVD player. They would actually have to get the console and spend the $700. Or how about this for another option? I don't know if any of you remember the Philips CDI and how of a shitty console it was. I'm not going to lie, I was a big CDI player as a kid. We had two of them, right? And in order to play games with higher end graphics at that time, or even watch video discs, you would have to purchase a card. A graphics card to insert into the back of the console. Now, why couldn't have Sony did that? Why couldn't have Sony done that with the PlayStation 3? Therefore, giving you an option whether you want the Blu-ray or you don't. Instead, they decided to mash it together. That I didn't agree with. Now, the problem with the Xbox, there was something glitchy with the system. And you'd only have it for 3 to 6 months and it would crash on you. And plus, when you hear Xbox 360 or Xbox in general, you think Halo. I'm not a Halo fan. I do like my shooters. I actually didn't get into shooters until several years ago with some of the Call of Duties, the old Borderlands games, and I played a bunch of others that were really good when I got into Xbox. But that was towards the end of the generation of the glitchy console. But I was so stuck with PlayStation 2 and its games. But now, trying to think of where I was going. So yeah, I converted to Xbox. A friend of mine had me over, and she had Call of Duty Black Ops, and I played the Zombies game, and I got into that. And then I went to a convention. I was working at a convention one time, and the only legitimate shooter that they had that was not Halo was the first Borderlands game. And after that, oh my god, I fell in love. So yeah, I converted to Xbox. I converted after the big generation of glitchy systems. And I converted, and I didn't like the whole setup of the PS3 and what it had. just its specs and such. But also understand the Xbox also had a detachable hard drive. So you could have options. Xbox allowed the option, but yet did not allow the option of Blu-ray. At that time, I'm totally fine with it. Now, PS4, Xbox One are all Blu-ray. So, okay, fine. Convert to Blu-ray. These things. Now, let me get into a little side story here. The topic of Final Fantasy VII and its remake, and why they didn't bother to release it on both consoles. Now, this is what bugs me. Alright? Square Enix, released the 13 games on both consoles. They released 15 on both consoles. I don't know about 14, don't really care. But yet, they didn't release the Final Fantasy VII remake on both consoles. Now understand, Square Enix was way fucking late on the remake of Final Fantasy VII. Oh, but Final Fantasy VII was solely on PlayStation. Yeah? This is where things get really good. You want to hear a little secret, kiddos? Yes, Final Fantasy may have been solely PlayStation. But you ready for this? Final Fantasy was originally licensed by Nintendo. They were going to release 7 on the N64, but they couldn't because of Final Fantasy VII's high-end graphics. And they were going to wait till the GameCube came out to release it. But Sony came along and said, oh, hey, we have a console that can take your game. Can we do it? Now Sony owns the right to Final Fantasy. Now, am I going to get any of the newer games? I doubt it. Because they've been really fucking up on the new titles. Am I going to get the new Xbox? Chances are probably not. Am I going to get the PS5? No. Because, I mean, there's not a lot of good games that are coming out in the future. And I'm more old school with my gaming. I do more, I'll do some Xbox One, 360, and I'll go back down like PS2, PlayStation, Nintendo, Sega. But going back to the 7 remake, they still have yet to release it on the Xbox. And at this point, as a gamer, as a fan of the game, I gave up. And I don't really care. In a sense. Because they're talking about releasing the second part of Final Fantasy VII, the remake. And get this, there's a side story that you can get on one of the characters. But the only way you can get it is by purchasing the PS5. Now, I'm not going to purchase a console just to get a side story on a certain character in a game. No, fuck that. I can YouTube that shit. And you want to know the best part of it? I can do it for free. So there you have it with my rant on games and consoles. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell for updates on new videos. I've got more rants coming your way, and I've got bigger projects coming your way. So, enjoy.